Just like anyone, people with hearing impairment can also be engineers, doctors, nurses, teachers, just to mention a few.
Here in Zimbabwe, people who are deaf, they can do what people who belong to the hearing community can do. They can do anything. What we are saying here is that disability is not inability.
If deaf people are exposed to the same educational learning platforms given to hearing people, they can perform well in every aspect of life. Many people think that having hearing problem means inability, but the deaf community blames the society for neglecting them.
Indeed, a deaf person is not disabled. There is no one who is called a disabled person, but it is the environment that disables people. The environment. When we provide necessary tools like sign language interpretation, like Braille, there will be no disability. Disability is something that is caused by human beings. It's something that is caused by people. That's why they are called disabled people, because it is the environment that is disabling them. But they are not disabled. They can do it. They can make it. People like Helen Keller, she was deaf and blind, but she managed to graduate with a master's degree. She was an advocate, a vigorous upholder of social justice in the States.
If the family accepts that one has a hearing impairment and start to treat him or her as any other human being, giving him or her support, he or she can do wonders and perform like hearing people. The Senior Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation engineer is proud to work at ZBC Pockett's Studios, and as a broadcasting engineer, he knows very well his duties. With many years of experience, Gubwe has become a teacher for junior engineers who come to learn broadcasting engineering at ZBC. Many people admire the unique way Gubwe does his work.
I'm a intern at ZBC Studios. I'm a junior for basic Gubwe. So I'm a supervisor. I work with him on night shift and we are technicians. So basically, he taught me a lot of things concerning the master control room and the studios. This is our routing panel. He taught me to route the channel. Like for example, right now, I'm going to signal till 1 link 3. After we receive it, we have to route it using this panel. For example, I can send studio commercial B. Studio commercial B. Outgoing. That's basically routine. Kuisa signal mune channel rekwa master kuti tikwanise ku broadcast. He taught me kupecha my signal using. On this one it was very easy because it's practical. You would just show me kuti this thing like animurukona in a cable yedu pakatovharwa izvizvi signal rakatoloka. So aingondiudza kuti you just read kuti panapa tine tier 1 link 1 tidoendesa kana ku output in 95. Saka you just connect the two. So that's really cool. You taught me this. Then we connect my satellite. We have 8 satellites. I can do this how to configure them using the main server radio to configure. Maybe some inputs. Kuserwa cho ichiba straight from outside. When my satellite, we would communicate through typing. Sometimes we would type, and he taught me some basic sign languages that I can understand. For example, kutakataura chim like this is A or B, so I can understand what he says.
I'm an intern here at ZBC. I started last year, June. Here with me is my senior engineer, Gubwe. He taught me a lot of things like how to use the control panel when shading our cameras. We use a control panel, adding blacks or adding iris. The second thing he taught me here is how to use the VTR player. Like when playing our stories and checking for file savers or connecting the IP addresses. Like when playing stories, cure them, and inputting the file saver and connecting to the IP addresses. Then the other thing he also taught me here is how to use the audio desk. Like when checking the sound, is it working correctly? We check using our VTR, the level of the audio. Then we can adjust to the level of audio we want. He told me how to monitor the audio levels on the monitors, like the external one, and how to route them in the control room and external too. And the other thing he taught me here is how to use the TriCaster. He also taught me how to use the vision mixer. On the vision mixer here, there are bus bars and key bars. Like the key bars, we use them to cut the camera so that it can be our final program. And the bus bars, we use them to cut the camera so that it can be our preview on the program. Yeah, right. This is our chroma. He taught me how to configure things using our chroma. Like putting the backdrop on the preview on the final program. He could point things and do sign languages. You route this and he could show you some movements. By working with him more frequently, I could understand what he was saying.
Gubwe works with the master controller and the crew on every production when he is on duty.
Takatanga kusangana na Blessing, if I remember well, that was in 2010. Ndichitanga kusvika pano pa ZBC. Saka indatsanda mboshanda nemunhangane hearing impairment before. Saka unongoziva zvoti uchitanga kusvika ubva introduced kune munhu tazanzichi ane impairment anyatsonzwe zvakanaka. Indakangoitawo perception yekuti maybe ndofanira kuti pane ndichitaurawo naye ndinofanira kushandisa sign language apo sign language was very new kwairi and ndinatsoziva nezve sign language. Saka kazhinji ndaiona anga nika hearing aid. Saka ndainyanya kushandisa high voice kana ndichida communicate naye. Andakatozodzidza later on kuti blessing munhu kuti chitakangofanana but iwe paunongonzwa nzi ane hearing impairment unogona kuita mamwe mafungiro ako ndenge chinoshandiswa magestures here and there but kazhinji iye anenge achitongoona anongoona malips angu pese pandoshanda naye as master controller masignals ese kubva ona nablawayo kwese kunoitwa maproductions anoitwa outside even mamwe ma-in-house aya tikaliza nemaengineer ndinaye iye ndi anondirutira mamasignals before asati aenda pa-ear signal rako da kuenda pa-a notaura naye blessing ndoda kana kuti blawayo kana kuti signal riri ku-national sports ndisiro kana kuti play out 5 iye ndikatongoti play out 5 iye anenge achitoona kana malips angu kuti anotori naye handingati kana ndichenda nemamwe maengineer pane difference anenge ndinayo kana ndina blessing because ini chandenge chinoda kumaengineers before zvinhu zvedu usati zvaenda on air pamwe pacho nesignal racho togona kuti testa before time kuti riende on air kana 30 minutes before vakomana vanototaura vari kana kuparliament kuti muri kutoona here chichi iye ndiye anenge achitoyo pamwe pacho tondudza kuti signal rekuparliament chanapa ndotongozongoona kuti rapo kana ndiri kurida kana muchannel 5 tongotora ndisiro muchannel 5 because playout tine player tine machannels akawanda especially pane ma-events ekuti zona anenge achibuda paZBC News obudawo kana paZBC TV yedu saka kana ndinaye ndongomutaura kuti ndikuida paZBC News nepaZBC TV channel 5 nechannel 7 otondirutira bebe and on a personal level tabva outside for zvepabasa izvo munhu wototi ari sociable tinotokurukura tinototaura nyaya dzakatosiyana totombosangana namutown.
I met Blessing when I was employed by Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation about 4 years ago. I think we worked together really well. He's a nice guy, he's a technician. Whenever we face the problem, I work as the technical director, audio operator, and the visual operator, and the camera person as well. So, him personally as an engineer, is that type of person that whenever we come across a problem, we call him, then he fix the problem. For example, he do white balance the cameras here. When you have the poor picture quality, he shades the cameras, then the quality of the picture improves. Then here's the desk as well. When the car owner desk is misbehaving, he is the one who is called upon to fix the problem. And also when he face audio challenges, for example, let's say we are having echo and poor audio quality, we always call upon him to fix the problem. Sometimes you communicate using sign languages, sometimes he reads your lips, but you always reply and you always communicate.
His supervisor, Mr. Mapuranga, does not regret having him as one of the best engineers in production.
I'm Blessing Gubwe, supervisor. I have known him since around 2008. I have worked with him since we were all technicians up until I was promoted. We have good relations with Blessing Gubwe. Blessing Gubwe is one of our good technicians. One good thing about him, he is very good in interpreting circuit diagrams. Because as of our job, one of the requirements you must try to master for you to perform well in your job or work is you must be able to interpret circuit diagrams and interpret what is written in the directions and all sorts of things, configurations and the likes. But with Mr. Gubwe, we have no challenges in that aspect. With Mr. Gubwe, we have no challenges even in communication, unlike with other colleagues. Because I have a background in sign language, I went to the second project. So with Mr. Gubwe, we can even chit-chat using sign language without any challenges. Even giving instructions or some tasks to Mr. Gubwe, we have no challenges. Or even some other time when we have challenges, I can even call him to work on short notice. He responds, he comes and he does his job well. Engineer Gubwe, I treat him the same as all other employees in our section. If he is faced with challenges, maybe some some stuff or something which he doesn't know, he always finds time to do it alone. He tries to catch up, but if he fails to catch up, he's always eager to learn. He asks, even many of our colleagues, they can confess to this, he always asks to try and make sure that he is always up there with the rest of the team. One good thing we enjoy about working with Mr. Gubwe is his dedication. He is too dedicated to his work. Even without giving him tasks, he's self-initiative, he brings in ideas. He is always marvelous to work with.
The Second Republic introduced various policies which promotes inclusivity nationwide, and ZBC, as a leading broadcaster in Zimbabwe, is popularizing these policies by implementing them.
When it comes to the national level, yes, of course, the government is trying to do what it can when it comes to ensuring that people with disabilities are included in all sectors. The government also introduced the National Disability Policy in 2021, that is in June 2021. And this policy has got very good provisions, but the challenge, of course, when we have a policy, we need an act of parliament. So some of the provisions that are there in the National Disability Policy includes employment. And when you look at employment for people with disabilities, it's one of the key areas and it's one of the target areas for those that are advocating for inclusion. So Section 3 of the National Disability Policy states that each and every public institution should have at least 15% of its work staff being people with disabilities. Maybe zeroing down on where I'm employed as a broadcaster by the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation. Yeah, it is actually employing people with disabilities, though I'm not too sure whether we do have a policy that is specifically for people with disabilities, but we've seen a good number of people with disabilities being employed by Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, from radio presenters to news producers to TV presenters as well. I am a radio TV presenter here at ZBC, so I'm pretty sure that the company has got a starting point, but more can be done.
Nonetheless, Gubwe faces communication challenges as his colleagues at work do not understand sign language. But thanks to the sign language interpreters who communicates with him, and he feels at home. Gubwe also have a supportive wife and family that looks up to him, and this strengthens him to conquer challenges that he faces on a daily basis. Gubwe is very grateful to have a family and workmates who understands him better. He also believes that disability doesn't mean inability.